something that said, take a look at what happened.
He was born into privilege, but chased fame and fortune like no other. From real estate mogul to reality TV star, and later, the 45th and 47th President of the United States. Loved by some, hated by others, Donald Trump remains one of the most polarizing figures of our time. But how did he get here? Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, at Jamaica Hospital in Queens, New York City, the fourth child of Frederick Christ Trump and Mary Ann McLeod Trump. His father, Fred Trump, was a highly successful commercial real estate developer and a trustee of the Kew Forest School, which all of his children attended. His mother, Mary Ann McLeod, born in 1912 in Tong on the Scottish Isle of Lewis, in the parish of Stornoway in the Outer Hebrides, was the youngest of 10 children. She met Fred Trump at a dance in Queens around 1935, and the two married in January 1936. Donald grew up alongside his siblings, Mary Ann, Fred Jr., Elizabeth, and his younger brother Robert, in a 23-room mansion located in the Jamaica Estates neighborhood of Queens. Fred Trump provided each of his children with about $20,000 annually, the equivalent of roughly $265,000 in 2025. By the age of 8, Donald Trump was already a millionaire in inflation-adjusted dollars. In a story written by Daniel K.M. Yamashiro, a Cambridge Roundtable faculty chaplain at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, in the Office of Religious, Spiritual, and Ethical Life, Fred and Mary did not tolerate nonsense in the home. Hard work was expected. There were no cookies or snacks between meals. The children were prohibited from using foul language or calling anyone by a nickname. The girls could not wear lipstick. Bedtime was strictly observed. The children were not allowed to have pets. The violation of any of these household rules brought severe consequences, including being paddled with a wooden spoon or being grounded. Mary Ann gave a report to Fred daily when he returned home from work. All Trump children were expected to work to help learn the value of money. That meant working summer jobs for all and paper routes for the boys. When Mary suffered from her near-fatal abdominal infection in 1949, Fred told their daughter Mary Ann, who was very worried about her mother, to soldier on and go to school as usual. At the age of 5, Donald began his education at the Kew Forest School, a private academy located in Forest Hills. In his early years, Donald was raised in what has been described as a civic church community. The Trump family attended the First Presbyterian Church in Jamaica, Queens, where all the children went to Sunday school and were confirmed at the age of 12. When Donald was 8, his mother gave him a Bible for his graduation from the church's primary Sunday school program. Summers were spent at strict, carefully scheduled Christian camps in the Catskills, Camp Hilltop for the boys, and Camp Hill Manor for the girls, where religious life consisted solely of Protestant and Catholic observances. Donald Trump proved to be a difficult child, and reports of his unruly behavior soon alarmed his father. At First Presbyterian, youth leaders also grew weary of Donald, who often stirred up trouble and created tension by provoking others in the group. Within the Trump household, Fred's authority was absolute, and all of his children yielded to his strict and unfeeling control, everyone except Donald. "I used to fight back all the time," Trump recalled, noting that resistance allowed him to keep people at bay. From this grew his personal creed: keep others on edge, never back down, strike first, and never apologize. Fred decided to send Donald to a place where he could be reformed. The choice was New York Military Academy, NYAM, which was led by hardened veterans who had lived through the nightmarish carnage of World War II and ruled the academy ruthlessly. Donald resisted the idea of going, but ultimately had no choice and followed his father's decision, attending the school from 8th grade until graduation. Years later, Trump explained, I wasn't thrilled about the idea, but it turned out my father was right. At the school, I learned a lot about discipline and about channeling my aggression into achievement. At New York Military Academy, bullies often found themselves bullied in return. Some cadets emerged hardened, learning the delicate balance of give and take while still upholding respect, dignity, and decorum. Others, however, buckled under the relentless pressure. Trump, though subjected to harsh treatment, rose above it and proved himself a leader. He cultivated discipline, relentless drive, and a tough resilience edged with raw intensity. Despite this physical and psychological strain, Donald excelled at New York Military Academy. During this traumatic time, Norman Vincent Peale, pastor of Marble Collegiate Church in New York City and author of the best-selling book, The Power of Positive Thinking, 1952, had a significant influence on Trump. The religious teachings of one of the nation's leading Christian self-help preachers helped shape Trump's self-image and offered him a way to withstand and make sense of the ordeals he faced at the academy. Biographer Michael D'Antonio wrote, "Trump told me he was also influenced in his youth by the sermons of Norman Vincent Peale. Donald sat in church by the hour to hear the minister." Peale's sermons were highly regarded in the Trump household beginning when Donald attended the Q Forest School. The Trumps witnessed Peale's rise to prominence when his book became a New York Times bestseller in 1952. It remained on the list for 186 weeks and eventually sold 5 million copies. Believe in yourself, Peale's book begins. The guru's self-help sayings include, have faith in your abilities, build up confidence in your powers, formulate and staple indelibly on your mind a mental picture of yourself as succeeding, and never think of yourself as failing. Peale argued that God will help you actualize your dreams of prosperity, achievement, success. The blend of Peale's teachings, Trump's temperament, and his time at New York Military Academy played a defining role in shaping his future. During school breaks, Donald often attended services at Marble Collegiate, where Peale's sermons reinforced his sense of self and gave him strength to withstand the physical and emotional hardships of the academy. Peale, who held one of the most influential pulpits in New York City for half a century, became a spiritual mentor to young Donald, guiding him through the challenges he faced. His message may have instilled in Trump the belief that God created him to be so special that he could overcome any hardship he faced. Trump later recalled that Peale's preaching made him feel very positive about both God and himself. "I would literally leave that church," he said, "feeling like I could sit through another 3 sermons." The academy also pushed students into sports and taught the imperative of winning. There, Trump was a good athlete and was the captain of the baseball team. His grades also improved to a B average. Later on, Trump briefly considered pursuing a career in show business, but chose instead to remain near home, enrolling at Fordham University in 1964. During his first year, he joined the Reserve Officers Training Corps program, attending classes in a military uniform every Wednesday, but dropped it in his second year. He also gave up football after just a few weeks and proved only average at squash and tennis. It was through his Fordham friends that he was first introduced to golf. In his junior year, Trump transferred to the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, often spending weekends at his father's office, and he graduated in May 1968 with a Bachelor of Science degree in economics. Despite later claims, he was not the standout student he portrayed himself to be. By the time he went to Wharton, where he does not appear in a list of those receiving honors, he was eyeing a career in real estate. That's all for Donald Trump's story from childhood to the time he finished his education. More to his business career in episodes to come, bringing you so many insights about how he proved himself to be a legend in the business world.
The state judge just ruled that I have to pay a fine of $355 million for having built a perfect